friends, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title of this video, today I am doing a pregnancy Q&A. I recently asked on Instagram if you guys had any questions for me regarding this pregnancy, so I wanted to go ahead and answer those here on YouTube as well. If you aren't following me on Instagram, please do so. I try to post things at least on my stories a few times a week. Honestly, I have been really bad about posting on there, but I do post more regular in real time updates and things on there. So go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you aren't already. So let's get into the questions. The first question is, when is my due date? And I totally forgot to mention this in my first trimester recap, but my due date is January 18th. So I am fully expecting to go past that, considering with both my other two pregnancies, I went past 41 weeks. So I am not expecting to have this baby any sooner than January 18th. And now that I'm curious, I want to check when exactly 41 weeks is, because I guess judging by my prior history, this baby will probably be born around that time. Okay, so 41 weeks would be January 25th. So right now, that's my prediction. January 25th or somewhere around there. We will see. Maybe this baby will surprise us and come early, but I am not getting my hopes up for that by any means. The next question is, did any of my endometriosis symptoms return before I conceived baby number 3? And I feel so incredibly blessed to say that no, I haven't had really any endometriosis symptoms return since I had my surgery in May of 2019. So it has been several years since that surgery, and I have felt great in regards to not really experiencing any endo symptoms. And I know part of that probably has to do with the fact that I've had babies very close together. So I had my son in 2020, March of 2020, then I had my daughter in June of 2022, and then this baby is due January of 24. So I have been pregnant quite a bit since that surgery, but no, I haven't had any symptoms return, and I am so grateful that that's the case for me. The next question is, how long did it take to conceive baby number 3? And this is interesting because this was a bit of a surprise, although it sounds silly to say that because we weren't doing anything to prevent pregnancy. But given our previous history, I don't know, I didn't think it would accidentally happen without us really trying to conceive a baby, if that makes sense. Like I wasn't tracking my cycles really well. I was tracking my cycles, but we weren't like intentionally trying to conceive a baby, if that makes sense. So it was a bit of a shock for me when I found out that I was pregnant, although I am incredibly grateful and I'm so happy to be pregnant again and adding another child to our family. It is a great blessing from God that we are having another baby. But initially I was very shocked. And when I realized that I was pregnant, my daughter had just turned 11 months. So she wasn't quite a year old. And I quickly did the math after I saw that pregnancy test and realized we will have an 18-month-old and a newborn, and we'll have 2 under 2. And I had a bit of a freak out when I realized that, because I thought, oh my gosh, like, how am I gonna handle this close of an age gap? But you know what? I've just had to let that worry go, because the Lord has a plan, and this was his plan for us to have another baby at this time. And I'm just trusting in his timing and trusting that however difficult it might be, we will get through it. The next question is, are we finding out the gender of this baby? And we already know the gender of this baby. I did the NIPT, I think it stands for non-invasive prenatal testing, at around 12 weeks. So it was done through blood work, and we found out at 12 weeks what we are having. We haven't made a big announcement or anything. I don't know if that really was intentional or not. Who knows? We might just keep it a surprise and do a name reveal and gender reveal once the baby's born. I don't know. We'll see. I have 2 more questions. The next one is, how have I been feeling? I'm in the 2nd trimester now, so I am overall feeling good. I'm still feeling fairly tired. Some days I just feel completely drained. Like I have absolutely no energy. But not only does that have to do with the fact that I'm pregnant, but I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old who I'm caring for all hours of the day. So being tired is expected at this point in my life, and it's just something that I deal with. But overall, 2nd trimester, I'm feeling good and just loving this stage of pregnancy. The last question is, am I planning to attempt another VBAC? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. My firstborn, my son, long story short, I was induced. It was a 2-day induction that ended up in a C-section, which was not what I wanted, and it was a tough experience for me, to say the least. And then with my daughter, I just prayed and prayed and prayed and did everything I could to try to set myself up for a successful VBAC, and I was able to achieve that, and I'm so grateful that I had that experience with her. It was a complete night and day difference between those 2 experiences, between having a C-section and having a vaginal birth. Everything about it with my daughter's birth was just so much more positive and so much better of an experience. So yes, I am definitely trying to have another VBAC, and I am seeing a wonderful practice this time around. We're in a new state, and so I am under the care of certified nurse midwives, which I have always wanted to be under the care of. It just never happened with my other 2 pregnancies. But this time I am, and I have loved every single midwife I have met so far. There are several in this practice, as well as an OB, and I've met the OB as well. But yeah, they are totally on board with me attempting to have another VBAC, and they are just so caring and so supportive. And it's interesting having the midwife experience this time versus just seeing OBs. It's definitely more in depth, and they take more time with me, and yeah, so I'm grateful for the care I'm receiving this time around, and I really hope and pray that I get to experience another VBAC. And I would really love this time around to experience spontaneous labor. I was induced, like I said, with my son, which ended up in a C-section. I was induced with my daughter as well. Completely different method of induction with her, which I definitely think played a role in my success. But I was also 41 weeks and 1 day when that induction with her started. So I would love to experience spontaneous labor this time. I've always wondered what that would be like, and I'm just, I'm praying that that's what I get to experience this time around. I think it would be quite an adventure for sure. And luckily this time around, we are only about a 10-minute drive from the hospital. So I'm not too worried about going into labor spontaneously and making it to the hospital in time. With my daughter, we were over an hour and a half away from the hospital because that was the only one closest to us that would allow a trial of labor after a C-section. So we had a bit of a drive, which was one of the big factors into why we decided to move forward with the induction with her. But we don't have to worry about that this time because we're so close to the hospital. So yeah, if you could just keep me in your thoughts and your prayers that I get to experience spontaneous labor this time and that I'm able to have another successful vaginal delivery, I would greatly appreciate those prayers. So those are all of the questions I received. If you have any more questions for me, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will do my best to answer those questions there. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in another video very soon.